Hello everyone and welcome to Talking Over Tea. So a few weeks ago we decided to pick some of our favorite childhood books and read them throughout the week. So we wanted to start off by showing you what books we picked and then continue with footage of us actually reading those books. So I just wanted to start this off with talking about the books that I will be reading for this challenge. So we each picked 7 books, one for each day, and they're all really short and easy, so this isn't really much of a challenge, but I am looking forward to reading these books again after it's been so many years. So the first one I have is Ginny's Babysitting Business by Catherine Woolley. So this book was actually my mom's when she was growing up, and she doesn't remember ever reading it, but both Maddie and I very much remember really liking this book. Yeah, I don't know much about it. It was written in the 60s, I think. But since I don't really remember it, I'm looking forward to seeing what this one's like. Next, I have a Jigsaw Jones mystery, The Case of the Ghostwriter. I don't remember anything about this one. I just also remember really liking it. Like I've said before, I wasn't a huge reader as a kid, so when I liked a book, it was very rare. And so I'm interested in seeing what it was about this book that I liked. Next, I have The Boxcar Children by Gertrude Chandler Warner. I don't remember the story as a whole, but I definitely remember bits and pieces about this book that I really liked. I don't know if I ever really read any of the other books in the series, but I definitely remember book 1, and I'm excited to get to this one. Next I have Dragon of the Red Dawn, which is a Magic Treehouse book. I remember reading quite a few of these as a kid and really liking them, and when I was looking through the covers trying to find which one looked the most familiar, this is the one that I could find that fit that category. So I'm not sure if I have read this one, but it seems pretty familiar. Alright, next I have Addie's Story Collection. This is an American Girl Law book collection, and I remember loving this one when I was younger. I remember feeling so accomplished when I read this whole thing in like a couple days, and yeah, I just really loved this story. Yeah, and I only plan on reading the first one out of this. This book is set in 1864, and it has a lot to do with slavery and getting free from it. That's basically all I remember. It's been a really long time since I read this one. Next I have a Royal Diaries book, Isabel, Jewel of Castilla. I remember finding a Royal Diaries book that I loved so much. It was like my favorite book ever. But for a long time I was trying to find what that was, and I think it might be this one. So this one is set in Spain in 1466. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to reading this one because I feel like it's one of the ones that I will really actually enjoy, not just for nostalgia. Yeah, I'm excited to get to this one. So I also have a Little Nancy Drew book that I plan on reading, but it wasn't ready at the library when we went, so I will go get that one later in the week. So the book I planned on starting for today, it is currently 6:30 p.m., but I'm finally getting around to starting a book, and I decided to start with the Addie book. The book is only around like 60 pages, so this one should be really easy for me to get through this evening, and I will update when I've read that one.
So the books that I'm going to read this week for our challenge are The Boxcar Children by Gertrude Chandler Warner. This was one that I really liked when I was little. I feel like I can remember this first book, but I can't remember any of the other ones in the series. I'm really excited to read this one for some reason. It's probably mostly because I really liked it when I was little, and I know I'm not going to like it as much as I did when I was younger, but I think it'll be a fun little book to read. I'm also going to read a Magic Treehouse book, which is Night of the New Magicians by Mary Pope Osborne. I do not remember this one specifically. I don't really have any that I remember reading. I can remember some of the covers, but I just picked this one, I guess, because I thought it was interesting. I don't know. I don't really know what it's about, but it'll be fun to read a Magic Treehouse book. It's been a very long time. I also am going to read Ginny's Babysitting Business by Catherine Woolley. This was my mom's book when she was little, and I just remember really liking it. It's just about a young girl who becomes a babysitter. It's going to be interesting to read this after having actually babysat, so this will be fun to read. I'm also going to read Sleeping Beauty's Daughters by Diane Zoller. I have actually reread this a few years ago. just because I remember loving this book so much when I was little. I have read it again, so this will actually be my third time reading it, but because I loved it so much, I thought I had to read it for this challenge. It'll be interesting because I don't remember the writing, or like I can remember main points of it, but not like the whole book. So this will be fun and probably quite weird. And then I have Tuck Everlasting by Natalie Babbitt. This is another one I recently reread. This was like my favorite book when I was little. We recently watched the movie, which was not very good. So this will be fun to read again. I have read this so many times, and I think I know pretty much everything that happens, but it has been a few years, so it'll be fun to kind of go back into try to remember what I was thinking when I read it the first time. Then I'm also going to read a Dear America book. This is Voyage on the Great Titanic, The Diary of Margaret Ann Brady by Ellen Emerson White. I don't remember this one specifically. I was trying to find one that I remembered the cover of, but I remembered like all the covers and I couldn't remember which one I read. So I just picked this one about the Titanic. I just remember really liking the Dear America books, but I don't really remember anything else. So this will be fun to read and see if it's any good. And then lastly, I'm going to read The Secret Garden by Frances Hodgson Burnett. This was probably one of the first longer books that I read when I was younger, and I really liked it, and I know my mom really likes it, and I think I reread it quite a few years ago. It would have been a while ago. Again, I've read this one a few times already, but it's been a little while, and I do know that it's a really good book. So this one will be a nice one to reread. So those were all the books that I'm going to try to read this week. I think I'm going to start with the Boxcar Children, just because that was the one that I was kind of really interested in reading. So I'm going to start reading that.
So it's currently January 11th. It's one day after I last filmed, and earlier today I finished Addie's Story Collection. I know that I had said I was only going to read the first book, but I ended up finishing the whole thing, and yeah, I really actually enjoyed this one a lot more than I expected to. This collection has 6 different stories in it, and they were all really short and easy to read. They were a lot better written than I was expecting them to be. Yeah, and I just really liked the storyline, and I learned some things, and yeah, overall I just liked this a lot more than I expected to, and I see why I liked it so much when I was younger. So now that I finished that one, I have decided to go with The Case of the Ghost Writer next. So, like I said, I have no idea what this one's about, but it's super short, and I should be able to get this one done really quickly this evening.
So today is Tuesday, and I finished The Boxcar Children. Took me a little bit longer than I thought it would to read it, though it was extremely short. I didn't start it till kind of late in the day on Monday, and then I only had time to read it when I was on my break at work. So it was a lot like what I thought it was going to be. It was very 1940s, 1950s children being homemakers, I guess, and I can see why I really liked it when I was little. Playing house was my favorite thing to play, so it was a little bit of a younger book than I thought it was. I think the next ones in the series are a little bit more complicated because this was very, very, very young. But it was a fun little book. I know why I liked it when I was little, and I still enjoyed reading it. So now I'm going to start the Dear America Voyage on the Great Titanic book, and hopefully I can get through this quickly. It's one of my longer books, so we'll see how it goes.
Alright, so I have a couple books to talk about since I last updated. So after I finished Addie, I read The Case of the Ghost Writer. This was honestly pretty dumb. I honestly didn't remember anything about this from when I read it the first time. I don't have much to say about it. But yeah, it was really short. It did not take me very long to read it all. So once I finished this one, I next read Isabel, Jewel of Castilla. I am not sure if this is the one I actually read when I was young. I looked at all of the Royal Diaries books, couldn't find anything that looked anything like what I remembered reading. This was not quite as good as I was hoping it to be. It wasn't quite as light and fluffy and fun as I wanted it to be. So now that I've read it, I know that this is about Isabella and Ferdinand of Spain. I have learned a little bit about them, but not a whole lot, so it was interesting to see at least a fictionalized story of that. Like I said, I don't think this is probably the one I read, so I'm still on a hunt for that one, but this one was at least interesting, though not my favorite. So after that, I have picked up The Boxcar Children, and I am not very far into this at all. I'm only 5 chapters in, and they're really short, so I'm hoping I will like this one. I am definitely not super thrilled with the characters and find them a little bit annoying, but I'm hoping that because of nostalgia, I will like this one a bit more than I might have otherwise.
So it is now Thursday and I have finished Voyage on the Great Titanic. Took me a little longer to read than I was thinking because I started on Tuesday and it's already late on Thursday, but I actually really enjoyed this one. It was a lot better written than I thought it was going to be. Even though I couldn't really remember a lot about the Dear America books, I didn't think I was gonna like them very much, just kind of like a little historical book. I don't know. I didn't think I was gonna like it, but I did actually like it, and the writing was good, and it was really nice to learn about the Titanic, which I don't know a whole lot about, but I got to learn about the Titanic, and then it had a bunch of pictures in the back and a timeline that was pretty cool. So I'm actually thinking I might actually read more Dear America books in the future. So that one was really nice surprise, and I'm really glad I read it. Now I'm going to start Night of the New Magicians, and I don't think I'm going to be liking this one quite as much as the last, but it'll be a fun little book to read. So it is now actually Monday. Yesterday would have been the last day of the challenge, and I did not read very much. I don't know if we're gonna keep going or if we're stopping now, but I finished Night of the New Magicians on Friday, and it was a very Magic Treehouse. It was a lot like what I remembered, and I'm not sure I would ever reread the Magic Treehouse very much. It was a nice kids book, but it's not anything that I really liked. And I don't know if I don't think I would ever keep reading them, but it was fun to read. And I started The Secret Garden, which is my longest book, and I'm not even halfway. I did not read very much over the weekend just because it was my weekend off, so Amelia and I were just doing some things together. So I didn't read a whole lot, but I'm definitely liking The Secret Garden. Probably one of my favorite ones that I've read so far. And I don't know if we'll be continuing this challenge, but I'm going to keep reading The Secret Garden and probably read all the rest of them too. This was a fun challenge. I'm glad we thought of it and glad we did it. It was mostly just fun to read books that I remembered really liking, even if the books weren't that good. But yeah, this has been really fun.
So it is currently Thursday right now, and the challenge was supposed to end Monday, but we didn't get a whole lot of chances to be reading. So I have finished 6 of my books so far. I don't think I will be getting to the 7th just because I wasn't super interested in reading it, and we've already gone over the challenge days quite a bit. So I am just going to talk about the books that I read to finish up. So I read The Boxcar Children, and I enjoyed this one. There was definitely a lot of stuff in it that I didn't remember. But yeah, I enjoyed reading this one. I gave it 4 stars. Yeah, so next I read Ginny's Babysitting Business. This one was interesting. I definitely did not remember it at all. It definitely felt kind of like a typical book written from that time period. But I did like it. I think I can see why I liked this when I was younger, but now it's not really what I enjoy. So yeah, this one just followed Ginny and her want to earn money for Christmas gifts and stuff, and how she tried to start a business. I gave this one 3 stars. It wasn't all that amazing. And then I read Dragon of the Red Dawn, the Magic Treehouse book, and this one was super short. It didn't take me very long to read it all. I gave it 3 stars as well. I wasn't really sure what to expect because it's been so many years since I read one of these books. I don't think I really have anything to say about this one. It was just kind of a typical kids book. Yeah, that was all of the books that I got to. The only one I had left was the Little Nancy Drew one, but yeah, I don't really care about that one too much. So that was the end of the challenge. I'm glad we did this challenge. It definitely didn't turn out quite as I was expecting. I didn't get to read a book a day. Usually I was reading a few pages one day and then finishing it up the next and stuff, just because things were kind of busy and I wasn't really expecting that to happen. So yeah, I enjoyed what I read. I didn't hate any of it, which was good, and it was just nice to read books that I remember from when I was younger. Also, yesterday I got this succulent. Maddie and I went succulent shopping, and I am super happy to own this one. We'll see how it does. I haven't had a whole ton of experience with succulents, but yeah, I really like owning them. I have 3 right now. I hope you liked seeing us do this challenge, and maybe it gave you some inspiration to read some of your favorites from your childhood. Since I'm still young, it'll be interesting to see what I think of books that I like now when I get older and see if I still like them and stuff. So I wanted to update on the Royal Diaries book that I read. I ended up actually finding the one that I remember reading when I was younger. So this one is Elizabeth the Princess Bride. So I had looked through all the Royal Diaries books and didn't think I could find the right one, but then we went to the library and I saw some of these pictures in the back, and I very vividly remember these pictures. So I checked this one out and ended up reading it, and this is the one that I read, not the Isabella Jewel of Castilla one that I read during the week. So yeah, I'm super excited to finally know what book that was, and I enjoyed this one a little bit more than the other one that I read.
So that was our week reading our favorite childhood books. We had a lot of fun picking them out and reading them. I did not read very many, but I enjoyed the ones I read, and hopefully I will reread the rest a little later. So we hope you enjoyed watching this video, and we'll see you in our next post. Okay, now you can go.